Could a few words in a treaty ignite another world war? Welcome to Class Bites. Today, we're diving into the infamous war guilt clause of the Treaty of Versailles and how it set the stage for future conflict. How could a single paragraph, a few carefully chosen words in a peace treaty, sow the seeds for an even more devastating global conflict? In the aftermath of the First World War, the Treaty of Versailles was intended to establish a lasting peace, but one particular section, Article 231, would instead ignite a fire of resentment that smoldered for 2 decades before erupting into the Second World War. This provision, commonly known as the War Guilt Clause, became perhaps the most humiliating portion of the treaty for the defeated German nation. It was the opening article of the reparation section, and while it did not explicitly use the word guilt, its purpose was unambiguous. It served as the legal basis upon which Germany was to be held liable for all material damages, forcing the nation to officially accept complete responsibility for initiating the war. The text was stark, stating that the Allied and associated governments affirm and Germany accepts the responsibility of Germany and her allies for causing all the loss and damage inflicted upon the victors. For the German people and their newly formed democratic government, this was not a negotiated peace, but a diktat, a term they used to describe a dictated peace forced upon them without their consent. The War Guilt Clause, combined with the crushing weight of huge reparation payments and severe limitations on the German military, felt profoundly oppressive. Many German commentators and the populace at large viewed the clause as a national humiliation, a forced confession that fostered deep and widespread resentment. Outrage swept through the nation as the German people felt unjustly burdened with the sole blame for a complex global catastrophe. This sense of indignation and the desire for a revision of the Versailles terms did not fade with time. Instead, it festered, creating a volatile social and political environment. The clause resulted in a potent cocktail of German humiliation and rage that would have dire consequences for the world. This pervasive shame of defeat and the bitter peace settlement of 1919 played a crucial role in the rise of Nazism in Germany. The incredibly harsh terms enforced by Article 231 created not only a sense of betrayal, but also severe economic hardship, plunging the nation into social turmoil. It was in this fertile ground of injustice and instability that extremist political movements began to flourish. Revision of the Versailles Treaty became a central and powerful platform for radical right-wing parties, including Adolf Hitler's Nazi Party, giving them an irresistible appeal to mainstream voters throughout the 1920s and early 1930s. They promised to shatter the chains of the treaty, to rearm the nation, to reclaim German territory, particularly in the East, and to restore Germany's prominence among European and world powers after its humiliating defeat. These promises stoked a powerful ultra-nationalist sentiment, and the relentless focus on reversing the humiliation of the War Guilt Clause helped average Germans to overlook the more radical and sinister tenets of Nazi ideology. The economic and social turmoil directly linked to the treaty's demands paved the path for the rise of extremists like Adolf Hitler, who masterfully exploited the national sense of grievance. The feeling of injustice was so profound that it overshadowed the dangers of the political alternative being offered. Ultimately, the attempt to assign singular blame through a single article did not secure peace. Instead, it created a legacy of indignation and a thirst for vengeance that directly contributed to the coming of a Second World War just 20 years later, proving that a peace built on humiliation is no peace at all. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment with your thoughts or next video ideas.